Hello students. Let us learn about pharynx and esophagus. Students, the pharynx is a membrane-lined tube that is located in the throat. It is the common passage of the windpipe of the respiratory system and food pipe of the digestive system. Pharynx connects the mouth to the esophagus and the nose to the larynx. Food and water from the buccal cavity and air from the nasal cavity both come to the pharynx. Students, we know that both food pipe and windpipe are connected to the pharynx. Then, can food enter into the windpipe? No, epiglottis cartilaginous flap is present at the tip of the pharynx. It closes when we eat, so food does not enter or flow into the trachea, a part of the respiratory system. Pharynx is about 12.5 cm long and divided into three portions. The naso or nasal pharynx behind the nose, the oro or oropharynx which is behind the oral cavity, and the laryngeal pharynx near the larynx. The esophagus is a muscular tube which is 23 to 25 cm long. Students, the upper portion of the food pipe is the pharynx, while the lower portion is esophagus. Just like pharynx, esophagus also runs parallel to the trachea, which is behind it. Esophagus opens into stomach. At the junction of esophagus and stomach, a ring-like muscular sphincter is present. It acts like a valve, which regulates the opening and closing of esophagus into the stomach. Esophagus pushes the food from pharynx to the stomach by peristalsis. Students, peristalsis is a wave-like involuntary movement produced by the rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the muscles of the walls of alimentary canal. Now, let us learn about stomach. Students, the stomach is a wide J-shaped muscular organ located between the esophagus and the small intestine. The gastric glands, which secrete gastric juices useful for the digestion of food, are present in the inner wall of the last part of the stomach, which is known as the pyloric stomach. Stomach has three major parts: a cardiac stomach, into which the esophagus opens; fundus, the main body, and the pyloric stomach, which is the lower last part. Stomach opens into the small intestine. So, now let's see what small intestine is. The food from the stomach is passed on to the small intestine via pyloric sphincter. Students, do you know that the small intestine is the longest part of the alimentary canal? It is a coiled tube measuring about 5 to 7 cm long. Students, isn't it amazing that longest part of our digestive system is called small? Do you know why? This is because small intestine is smaller in diameter as compared to large intestine, which has bigger diameter. Now, small intestine is divided into three regions. First, U-shaped duodenum. The bile ducts and the pancreatic duct open into the duodenum through common bile duct. After duodenum, a coiled middle portion called jejunum comes. And the last comes ileum, which is the longest part of the small intestine. Small intestine contains minute finger-like projections called villi. Students, can you imagine the number of villi present in the small intestine? There are approximately 4 million villi. Internally, each villus contains fine blood capillaries. Here, food absorption takes place. The small intestine serves function of both digestion and absorption. Food from small intestine is sent to large intestine. So, let's see about large intestine. Students, the unabsorbed and undigested food from the small intestine is passed into the large intestine. The large intestine is the last part of the alimentary canal and extends from the ileum to the anus. It is about 1.5 meters long. It has three parts: cecum, colon, and rectum. The cecum is a small pouch-like structure situated at the junction of the small and large intestine. From its one end arises a finger-like structure called vermiform appendix. It is a vestigial or functionless organ in human beings. The cecum opens into colon. The colon is divided into three parts: a ascending part, a transverse part, and a descending part. After colon, then comes the rectum. The last part opens into the rectum. And students, rectum opens through the anus. It is kept closed by a ring of muscles called the anal sphincter, which opens when passing stools and closes after that. So students, we have now understood the structure of alimentary canal, which is also called gastrointestinal tract. It starts from the mouth and ends up with the anus.